ሰላም እንዴት ናችሁ? ደህና ናችሁ? አለሁ እግዚአብሔር ይመስገን እኔ በጣም ደህና ነኝ። እሺ, so now I want to talk to you about common courtesy in Amharic. It's important to get to know the culture when you're studying the language because, you cannot detach language from the culture it is spoken in. I want to show you this thing in Amharic. When you're having dinner or lunch, if somebody knocks at the door and you tell that person to come in, the moment he comes in, you have food on the table and you would say, let's eat together. This is what you would say in Amharic, okay? In our culture, you ask that person to eat with you, okay? If you're drinking something, if you're having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, you ask that person to have that with you, okay? You invite that person to sit down. But first, I think before I dive into how to say these things, there are some vocabs or verbs that you need to know. For example, mablat. Mablat is to eat. Mablat is to eat. Food is what? What is food? ምግብ in Amharic. ምግብ. መብላት to eat. ምግብ food. Okay? ምግብ food. Okay, breakfast ቁርስ. ቁርስ. ምሳ lunch. Dinner እራት. እራት. Or you can be specific about the food. Burger, ሽሮ, አትክልት, ጥብስ, ፍርፍር, whatever we have. When you drink, what is to drink? መጠጣት. መጠጣት is to drink. Okay? ሻይ, ቡና, ለስላሳ or soft drinks. Juice, that's how I would say it. Or you can be specific about whatever it is that you're drinking. Okay? The type of beer or the type of chai it is. መጠጣት, it means to drink. So if somebody walks in, somebody knocks at the door, you invite that person to come in, he walks in and you ask that person to have whatever you're having with you. Okay? What do you say? እንብላ. Okay? I'm trying to show you some sort of conjugation. Of course, I'm not going to delve deep into this now, in this video actually. You may find it in other videos, but this is how you do it. እንብላ, meaning let's eat. It's very common, okay? It's very common. If you're having lunch somewhere, in a hotel, in a restaurant, you don't just devour everything and get out. And if you see somebody, a friend of yours or somebody you know, it's customary to say, እንብላ, እንብላ, or እንጠጣ, እንጠጣ. Let's drink whatever it is that you're having. ሻይ እንጠጣ, ቡና እንጠጣ, ወተት, milk, እንጠጣ, whatever it is that you're having. እንጠጣ. What happens most of the time is the person doesn't, get into it. Like he would say, okay, let's do this. No, the person doesn't do it. So what we say is, የተባረከ ይሁን. Okay? የተባረከ ይሁን. Let it be blessed. Let it be blessed. አመሰግናለሁ. የተባረከ ይሁን. Or አመሰግናለሁ. Okay? የተባረከ ይሁን. የተባረከ ይሁን. Okay? Or አመሰግናለሁ. All right? So let's do a dialogue. Check this out. ቁርስ እንብላ. Somebody walks in. Okay? Somebody knocks at the door. Come in. ግባ, ግባ, ግቢ, ግባ. Come in. Masculine, okay? Your friend, a man. ግባ. He walks in. And what do you say? እንብላ. Let's eat. And he would say, አመሰግናለሁ. አመሰግናለሁ. በልቻለሁ. Or you would say, ቁርስ እንብላ. It's breakfast time. ቁርስ እንብላ. And the person says, አመሰግናለሁ, በልቻለሁ. አመሰግናለሁ, በልቻለሁ. I actually ate. I've just eaten, sort of thing. Okay? I actually ate. አመሰግናለሁ. አመሰግናለሁ, በልቻለሁ. የተባረከ ይሁን. የተባረከ ይሁን. Or just አመሰግናለሁ, በልቻለሁ. That's it. But የተባረከ ይሁን is very common. I mean, people say that a lot of times. Okay? The same is true with እንጠጣ. ሻይ እንጠጣ. ቁርስ እንብላ. ምሳ እንብላ. እራት እንብላ. ሻይ እንጠጣ. You would say አመሰግናለሁ. ጠጥቻለሁ. See? ቁርስ እንብላ. አመሰግናለሁ. በልቻለሁ. ሻይ እንጠጣ. አመሰግናለሁ. ጠጥቻለሁ. ጠጥቻለሁ. I drank. Not alcohol, actually. You know, tea or coffee or whatever it is that your friend is having. Okay? So, እንጠጣ. Let's drink. Let's drink. All right? So, ሻይ እንጠጣ. አመሰግናለሁ. ጠጥቻለሁ. Or የተባረከ ይሁን. You could just say that. Maybe to your girlfriend or to somebody you want to ask out, you can say, ዛሬ ራት እንብላ. ዛሬ ራት እንብላ. Okay? እንብላ. This is asking her out. Or ምሳ እንብላ. ምሳ እንብላ. You can say this to your girlfriend. ራት እንብላ. Or ምሳ እንብላ. One of the two. Well, I prefer dinner. Okay, I'm just kidding. That's shit. There are some other expressions that show common courtesy in Amharic, and let's look at them. Check these out. Okay, we'll talk about these in detail, in future videos, but I think it's important that you know what these are now, because I want you to speak Amharic, and for you to get started with it, it's important that you know these expressions, okay? Number one, I'm sorry, right? ይቅርታ. ይቅርታ. I'm sorry is very common. ይቅርታ. Okay? You bump into somebody, you would say ይቅርታ. Okay? You want to get somebody's attention, you say ይቅርታ. Okay? You want to do this, you want to do that. Okay? So you start with ይቅርታ. Another one, please. This is very common. እባክህ is masculine. እባክሽ is feminine. እባካችሁ plural. እባክህ. እባክሽ. እባክሽ ሻይ አምጪልኝ. Okay? Please get me tea. That's what it means directly translated. Okay? እባክሽ ሻይ አምጪልኝ. That's what you'd say to a waitress in a restaurant or in a cafeteria. እባክሽ ቡና አምጪልኝ. እባክህ ቡና አምጣልኝ. In a meeting, in a big hall, they give you sort of a standing ovation or doing some sort of emceeing, and you get on the stage, you say this and that, everybody stands up, or you walk in and then everybody is already standing up, and you would say, እባካችሁ ተቀመጡ, sit down please, እባካችሁ ተቀመጡ. You find everybody standing up and maybe clapping, and then you want them to sit down, and you'd say እባካችሁ ተቀመጡ. እባካችሁ please, plural. Another one, if you want to thank someone, you can say አመሰግናለሁ. It's very common. Or እናመሰግናለን. Okay? If you and I are to thank somebody, a third person, a third person, you'd say እናመሰግናለን. እናመሰግናለን. Okay? እናመሰግናለን. አመሰግናለሁ. I thank you. እናመሰግናለን. We thank you. So you can fix በጣም right before ይቅርታ and አመሰግናለሁ or እናመሰግናለን. በጣም ይቅርታ. I'm very sorry. That is if you've made a mistake, if you're to apologize. በጣም አመሰግናለሁ. You ask somebody to lend you a pen or a pencil, you're not going to say በጣም አመሰግናለሁ. No, you just say አመሰግናለሁ. That's it. What if somebody is there for you when you're having a hard time. በጣም አመሰግናለሁ. Even the way you say it matters. Your tonality matters. Because language is not just about utterance. You know, it's about your tonality. What kind of tonality are you creating? What are you making your counterpart feel? You know? You know what I'm saying. If you don't understand something, if you don't understand this lesson, for example, you can say, ይቅርታ አልገባኝም. Sorry, I don't understand. ይቅርታ አልገባኝም. Sorry, I don't understand. If you want to get a chair in a restaurant, and if you want to ask somebody whether that chair is taken or not, you would say, ይቅርታ ሰዋለሁ? Before you pull that chair, what are you going to do? You're not just going to pick it up and go and fix it in your spot. No. What are you going to do? You go over there and you ask whether or not that chair is taken. Right? Is this chair taken? That's what we say in English. In Amharic, you would say, ይቅርታ ሰዋለሁ? Oh, no. ችግር የለም. That's what you would say. If there's nobody in there, what is he going to say? ችግር የለም. Then you pull that out. እሺ, another one. You can say, can I borrow your pen, please, if you want. Pen, in Amharic, it is scripto. It kind of is Italian. That's what I heard, Italian. Because the Amharic word for a pen is bir. But we usually call it scripto. That's it. Yeah. Scripto. Pen. Okay? So, scripto, pen. All right? So, you want to borrow this pen. Oh, come on, I'm not going to lend you this pen. It's beautiful. So, you want to borrow this pen. How do you ask for that? Scripto መዋስ እችላለሁ? Scripto መዋስ እችላለሁ? Can I borrow your pen, sort of thing? You know, you're at an airport and you want to sign something, okay? And you don't have a pen. And what are you going to say? Scripto መዋስ እችላለሁ? እባክሽ. She gives you the pen. You do what you do, and that's it. Then when you return it, አመሰግናለሁ. Scripto መዋስ means borrow. መዋስ means borrow. Or you can say, can I talk to you, please? You know, you want to talk to somebody, and you can say, can I talk to you, please? And how do you say this? ላውራ እችላለሁ? እችላለሁ means can I? እችላለሁ? Okay? እችላለሁ? ላውራ እችላለሁ? May I talk to you? ላውራሽ እችላለሁ? Feminine. ላውራሽ እችላለሁ? Okay? እባክሽ. ይቅርታ ላውራ እችላለሁ? ይቅርታ ላውራሽ እችላለሁ? Okay? Or you want to sit somewhere, okay? And you want to sit there and then you want to ask whether that seat is taken or not. መቀመጥ እችላለሁ? Okay? ይቅርታ መቀመጥ እችላለሁ? Okay? ይቅርታ መቀመጥ እችላለሁ? And if that seat is not already taken, you would say ተቀመጥ. ችግር የለም. ተቀመጭ or ተቀመጥ. Sit down. ተቀመጥ or ተቀመጭ. Sit down. ተቀመጭ is feminine, ተቀመጥ is masculine. Or ቁጭ በል. ቁጭ በይ means it is actually feminine. ቁጭ በል is masculine. They both mean sit down. እባክሽ ቁጭ በይ. እባክህ ቁጭ በል. እባክሽ ቁጭ በይ. Okay? Sometimes if you say ቁጭ በል, the tonality is sort of hard for the recipient of this utterance. Okay? ቁጭ በል. It's aggressive. Okay? ቁጭ በል. እባክህ ቁጭ በል. Okay? In a cinema hall. One of the things that I don't like is if somebody talks in a cinema hall next to me, you know, that's annoying. I don't know how many of you guys find it really annoying to listen to guys. You know, some people talk, you know. I actually saw some guy, you know, he pulled out his phone and started watching TikTok in a cinema hall. I was like, man, what is he doing? Why is he paying to be there? You know? So since I'm a movie guy myself, I really love movies. Film ወዳለው በጣም. Okay? Film በጣም ወዳለው. So I don't want to see anybody in a cinema hall talk to anybody, you know, because it's going. You know, the movie's going and then we got to follow it. You don't, you know, if I'm watching on my computer, I can always pause it and say, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Would you please shut up? Whatever. Okay, but in a cinema hall, you can't really do this. Anyway, you know, if somebody stands up right in front of you in a cinema hall, እባክህ ቁጭ በል, you're being formal. You're not being rude, you know. These are some common courtesy vocabs or words in Amharic. So use these words, you know, they're the culture, everything, it's embedded in the words, in the vocabs. So understand what they all mean, okay? So remember, language is not just about a vocab, it's also what is embedded in the vocab, in the vocabulary, okay? What is embedded in the word. And also later when it's uttered out, it's also in the tonality, you know, tonality. It's not just what you say, it's also how you say it. How you say matters, okay? So yeah, that's how it goes. Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. And this is the biggest Amharic Masterclass on YouTube. And share it with those who want to speak Amharic. If you're interested in our corporate or personal training packages, this is what you need to do. Talk to us at lincolnenglishworld@gmail.com. Or what's up? +251 913 226257. Down there, you can find everything down there. By the way, when you WhatsApp, you know who you're going to talk to? That's me. You will have an amazing time with us. See you in class, everybody.